Ghana 4, it's another Friday, and without mincing words, I'm about to share with you my blunt thoughts. You know how I do it? I don't mince words. Today I've titled my blunt thoughts, Missing the Industrialization Boat, the Curious Case of Ghana. I challenge you, yes you watching me, to name for me one country that has attained the status of a developed nation without industrializing or reaching a high income level, and I shall show you how we can make pigs fly. Just as you cannot find any examples of such countries, you see, in the same way pigs cannot possibly fly, at least not for now. But what does it mean really to industrialize? In very simple terms, countries industrialize when a lot of the work done by humans start being done by machines. But no, it does not mean people lose jobs. On the contrary, a lot more jobs are created as in many instances human resource is needed to man and maintain these machines. Industrialization actually creates more specialized jobs too. In a country that opens up to industrialization, people adopt easier and cheaper ways of manufacturing and better technologies are employed to produce more goods in less time. Sound good? Of course, it ought to. This is music to anyone's ears because industrialization has proven to be the birth of advancement in the ways we desperately need to evolve as a country. When you go to those Western or Eastern countries or to the Middle East and return to flaunt the pictures you took, do you ever stop to think what it would take for Ghana to look like same? Do you? If you don't, you lack foresight. If you do, that's a crucial start. Our leaders, many of whom have schooled, vacationed, or been to those places, see these advancements, but are so inept that they cannot replicate same here. But why? Are the people living in those countries more human than we are? Are they better? Most assuredly not. But while we make everything political and fail to think, plan, and execute, the rest of the world is fast leaving us behind. The key word in industrialization is manufacturing. Get your industries working in the right economic environment and your people will be on their way to unparalleled prosperity. It worked for the Europeans, the Americans, Canadians, and Japanese. Between 1750 and 1900, the gross national income, also known as gross national product in terms of the purchasing power parity of these countries, lumped together, jumped from far less than $1,000 to $2,500. For Africa, and yes, I know many will speak of the effects of colonization, though we've been 2/3 of a century and slightly less out of it for most parts of our continent. That figure was not even close to $1,000 by 1900. Gross national income, by the way, reflects the total domestic and foreign output claimed by residents of a country, consisting of gross domestic product plus factor incomes earned by foreign residents minus the income earned in the domestic economy by non-residents. Now, on to more current statistics. The gross national income per capita of Ghana reached $2,340 in 2020. In that same year, the GNI per capita was $40,770 in Japan, $47,500 in Canada, and for a more fair comparison, $4,370 in Kenya, $5,000 in Nigeria, $6,020 in Angola, $11,870 in South Africa, $12,000 plus in Egypt, and $15,570 in Botswana. Do you see how far behind we are on this score, even in our own backyard of Africa? South Africa boasts that on their roads, you wouldn't spot a single pothole. Here, you'd be lucky not to spot a few even on the best roads. In South Africa, when roads lose a little luster or color, they do an asphalt paint job. It's all part of the look and feel, and the reason some people travel to see that country. Here, unless the road is as dangerous as a Sudanese pirate targeting an unarmed shipping vessel, we pretend everything is all right until lives are lost. 3 years back to back, we've had a year of roads. Yet look at our roads. Don't just sit in the cry and say the roads are fine. Go out there to the hinterlands, for Christ's sake. That paint job, the scouting and all that creates jobs in South Africa. Must I say this before we realize we're so far behind? Look, I'm not supporting cheating at school, but the worst student really is the one who cannot even copyright. And that is precisely what our leaders are. On the international scene, if what works for another can work in your own environment, what do? You do not have to reinvent the wheel. You merely duplicate, copy same. Why can we not imitate what the Asian juggernauts, whom we call the Asian tigers, did? After all, they all practically came out of situations just like ours. So why not follow their path, their lead to development? Somebody explain to me again why we still import so much super glue, rice, tomatoes, onion, sugar, poultry, toothbrushes, clothing, tires, and everything in between. We even import toothpicks when there is an abundance of bamboo all over the country. What at all is wrong with us? And why do we import so many used clothes? With all the concomitant problems, doesn't it make you wonder how in 2020 we actually imported more used clothing, obroni wewu, into this country than any other country in the world? Do you know how much hard currency we spent doing so? $182 million. Do you realize what this could have done for the Ghanaian clothing entities and how much business it could have created if we had a booming clothing creation industry? Obroni wewu has been with us for years, generations, I agree. But a chunk of whatever comes in, sometimes 70 to 90% of the contents of the bales that arrive, turn out to be trash or items unsuitable for use, which then add to the junk that accumulates in our system and creates rubbish we don't have the means of dealing with. And in some cases, items to further clog our sewage systems and escalate the threat of flooding. And why is this? We do not have big industries that produce clothes for the masses. How many clothing brands do we have in Ghana? Name them. How many can you mention? How many, apart from those working on African prints, do we have producing sneakers, sweatshirts, socks, cotton shirts, suits, singlets, boxers, stockings, brassieres, and other women's underwear? Do you see how pathetic we are? Pick a typical Ghanaian and ask him where the things he or she is wearing are from, and you'd realize our situation is indeed desperate. Once you are such a consumerist country and economy, you will never get out of the clutches of want and struggle because you will always have to tie your needs to the apron strings of those who produce them at whatever cost they choose to sell their products. The bottom line, you will always get the short end of the stick. If the West will not give us better terms of trade, and who would, as the current system is skewed to their advantage, then create your own hub of industries here and they will be forced to reduce their prices, like it or not. But because we've not done that, because they know we have no real choice as a consumer-oriented market, they do whatever they please. And our leaders who are in the position to get us out of that vicious cycle sit down and watch as though they were clueless. Do you need to be a nuclear physicist to know this? Do you? This was why Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, the visionary leader, gave us the Ghana Shoe Factory, the Ghana Jute Factory, the match-producing factory at Kede. Today, we import matches. The Ghana Glass Factory at Aboso, the Takwa Gold Processing Factory, the Meat Processing Factory in Bolga, the Akasanoma Radio Factory, and the Paper Processing Factory. This was why in 1964, Nkrumah gave us the Comenda Sugar Factory. But look at what we did to all of what he bequeathed to us. I read recently that, we're going to have, a revamp of the Comenda Sugar Factory. One factory pair. Look at the merry-go-round we've done. Why? If other countries had sought development in this roundabout manner, would they ever have developed? The Minister for Trades and Industry is now saying the Comenda Sugar Factory is 98% complete. Ayo. We pray it takes off as planned. Godspeed, Mr. Minister. Nkrumah gave us a gold refining factory in Takwa. We let it die. Today, how many gold refineries do we have? Isn't it sickening that for a country that has produced gold for centuries, we are so far behind in terms of refining it? Do you see how backward our thinking is? So countries like Switzerland take our cocoa, process it, and we buy all of these foreign brands of chocolate for an arm and a leg. Our gold is bought, refined, and sold back to us as trinkets and all other kinds of jewelry at huge cost. What we could have kept within our system to boost our economy is funneled out to build other economies. And we claim to have brains in economic circles. How many years will it take to change this? Forever? Haba. Nkrumah gave us the Atomic Energy Commission, the National Nuclear Research Institute, Akwabina, to be responsible for all matters relating to peaceful uses of atomic energy. What did we do with them? Just look. Look at the things Nkrumah did. I think I'll add another title to Nkrumah, Osiadieyo. Nkrumah gave our institutions of education a boost. Ghana awards own degrees. Look at that. The University of Ghana awarding its own degrees. The Tema smelter production starts in 1967. Now this, they did not allow him to get to the point where he would execute this. But look at the thinking. It was going to produce her first finished aluminium in April 1967. Look at Indonesia today and how the smelting of aluminium has changed their economy. Look at what it has done, the billions it is contributing to their economy. We're going to get this. It was truncated. Look at these. Our source of power, Akosombo. Ghana produces first chocolate at Tema, all under Nkrumah. The Kolebu Teaching Hospital, again, under Nkrumah, he had that foresight, that vision. Young doctors were going to be paid more, 1964. In fact, he had such an ambition that the Ghanaian would go places, go the world over. The world will hear the voice of Ghana. Ghana's Radio and Television Corporation is expanding its external service to enable the voice of Ghana to be heard in every part of the world by 1965. What happened to that? What happened? Isn't it shocking that we are so slow in terms of going solar, especially for a country seeking better sources of energy? Look at our North African neighbors and the strides they are making. Just you look at what Morocco is doing. The Noah Complex Solar Power Farm is the largest concentrated solar power plant in the world. Located in the Sahara Desert, the project has a 580 megawatt capacity and produces electricity to more than 1 million people and aims to reduce carbon emissions by almost 760,000 tons annually. Look at what Algeria is doing. What stops us with our all year round sunshine from tapping into same? We say we are paying for unused excess power supply. Any thinker knows what the economists tell us. When you have something you don't need, or have too much of something you want, and if others have some of the things you need, but they also need the thing you have in excess or do not need too much of, you simply exchange. It's called utility maximization. Whatever happened to critical thinking? Just you look at how our economy is bleeding, because we have not insulated ourselves even in the least of ways, economically speaking. As I speak, our foreign reserves are running so thin that some economists feel we must run to the IMF as quickly as we can, because we've been burning through them since January. It's been exactly 126 days since faraway Russia punched Ukraine in the face. Ukraine suffered a nosebleed and a bad fever, but still remains standing. But we in Ghana, over 10,000 kilometers away, as a result of that same punch, which came nowhere near hitting us, suffer paralysis from the waist down. That's a snapshot of what our situation is like. That's the easiest analogy I can use to describe our current state. We are not self-sufficient in anything, not one. Rather sadly, we had it all at independence. But strangely, the flight of our envisaged progress never took off. As Martin Luther King Jr. of blessed memory said, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. I ask, if we are not yet flying by producing cars, how about crawling and starting with body parts or engines? Look at this. All of these vehicles. This was known as the Turtle. If you look carefully, I don't want to zoom, but you can go check the records. This was known as the Turtle, produced right here. This, the Bwafo and the Adum, they were initiated by concepts, blueprints from the Nkrumah era, and some of these produced under Ignatius Kutu Echampo. Can we not, on the back of producing PPE, when COVID-19 struck, start state-run clothing lines to create jobs and reduce the vast outflows of foreign currency our people take to Turkey, China, Dubai, and the United Arab Emirates and elsewhere to purchase same? You see, the black African's problem is that for most of us, we never learn or are too lazy to do what the others elsewhere are doing. We tend to be what the economists call laggards, but there often is a hefty price to pay for being such a sloth in crucial areas of national endeavor. This point became acutely evident when COVID-19 hit us, and we had no vaccines. We were running around, literally, like headless chickens, and even getting duped in some instances, all in a bid to grab some vaccines, because we had no homegrown industries for that. For a while, there was a lot of talk about starting vaccine-producing companies and blah, blah, blah. I hope we get to see some of them before our current government's tenure runs out. Beloved brothers and sisters, we have a massively blessed country, a country blessed with every good gift. But we are, sorry to say, a silly people with inept leaders. We are silly because we fail to honestly push our leaders for what we know they should be doing and delivering, what we deserve. Now they are uchi V8 Nubia, ayabone. If you also make enough to take your family round Ghana on vacation, by so doing, boost local tourism and reduce your stress, would it be bad? Why should our leaders live lavish lives all the time while we languish in poverty in perpetuity? Aren't we also deserving of good things? If not, then why do we even vote leaders into power? Tell me. Like I keep saying, These leaders we keep electing in the Fourth Republic only understand being pushed hard against the wall before they act. They remind me of that Fela Kuti song, Zombie. Zombie no go unless you tell him to go. Let's wise up, people. Now is the future. If we lose our grip on the now, there will be no future. Neocolonialism is happening right now. If we don't break free from the yoke of dependence now, we shall make the work doubly difficult for our children. Let's come together and save our motherland. I challenge our leaders to man and woman up, take the bull by the horns, and lead us into that land of prosperity flowing with milk and honey. And if they will not or cannot, let's keep searching till we find those who can. Assembly etia, simple cry. Untumia, chonhono yensin. Let's take a look at these slides before I hit the end. This is what Nkrumah gave us. This is just a snapshot, a brief snapshot of what the Osajifo gave us. Match factory in Kade, Akosombo Textiles Limited. The shoe factory in Kumasi. Why are we importing so many shoes? The Pualugu tomato factory. Today, Burkina Faso. That is where we get our tomatoes from, most of them. Komenda Sugar Factory. Nsawam Cannery. Brick and Tile Factory. Takwa Bonsa Tire Factory. We shouldn't be importing tires. Bolgatanga Meat Processing Factory. The rice mill in that same place. Gehok Fiber Products Company. Now, look at the 1D1F initiative. The claim is that all of these projects are at different stages of completion, 278 in number, out of which those operational are 106. Of course, we know some of them were already extant and some activity was done to boost them. Projects under construction, 148, and those being prepared, 24. But stay with me. It gets interesting. The 1D1F initiative, in terms of its budgetary allocation, 216.2 million in 2022. But look at that. Take a close look at this. 198.75 million. That is the seed money for the National Cathedral. Priorities. Do you see? This is what we are giving to 1D1F for a whole year. And this is just the seed money equivalent for the National Cathedral. In recent years, you can see an upward trajectory in terms of how much we are spending. But how much of a priority is it when you look at this? This is the Komenda Sugar Factory. This is what we've known for years now. In all its, borrowing the words of my colleague, rusted glory. Now, if you look at the investments we've made in there, 36.5 million under the Mahama administration, it didn't produce sugar for the past 5 years. Then you look at more focus on that. Expected number of jobs it would have created per the Mahama administration, 7,300 jobs, 1,250 tons of sugar cane daily. You add these two, 36.5 million to 28, you'll get something around what? 64.5 million dollars. What did we get out of it? How much have we got? So you see how we are bleeding. My research, though we do not have figures to put to it, tells me that time and again, over the decades, we've been investing in the Komenda Sugar Factory. We've lost so much. What do we have to show? So Ghana, as I end, I leave you with the words of the sage, the Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, who's speaking on the 20th of July, 1948, to the first batch of students at the Ghana National College, which he founded, said, pay attention. If you've not listened to anything I've said, pay attention to this. Nkrumah says, the African today is conscious of his capabilities. Educational and cultural backwardness is the result of historical conditions. But for you, think, study hard, work with sustained effort. As never before, we want thinkers, thinkers of great thoughts. We want doers, doers of great deeds. Of what use is your education if you cannot help your country in her hour of need? Let all of us, most especially our leaders, reflect on that. Think about it. My name is Benjamin Akakpo. I do this because I am genuinely passionate about Ghana and dream of our motherland achieving her full potential. These are my thoughts for you on another Friday morning, served hot, raw, unedited, and undiluted. God bless Ghana.